Alright, so today's video is going to be slightly different. So Sajid and Arun are done with the unboxing for the OnePlus Nord CE 2 and I don't have much time with it, so I decided to do like a quick day in the life kind of video and also show you the process of how we go around testing the products. Sajid, there they are. Alright, so this right here is the one. Wait a second. This looks similar to a different, to another phone. Aha, no wonder. You know, I found that out. Check this speaker grill out here.
Even the specs are similar.
Alright, Sagar, do me a favor. Just show the comparison specs of these two phones on screen. Pretty similar phones. So what we're going to be doing is actually spending a day with the OnePlus Nord CE 2. I'm not going to be comparing it. That takes some time. But I'll quickly tell you guys what I think about the phone and the experience of using the phone. Sort of like an experiential video. My name is Ashad. You're watching Trakin Tech English. Let's go. Obviously, the very first thing that we do is check the design of the phone, and I'm not a fan of this, fake metal finish on that polycarbonate frame that exists on the Nord CE 2 as well. But this glass back is nice, and I also like that, this seamless camera module design which was introduced with the OPPO Find X3. It kind of blends in nicely, and the bump is also not too much, so that's nice. Plus, it has this transparent sort of design, so you can see that, camera ring through it, which was also there on the Realme 9 Pro Plus, which I reviewed recently. Also, very importantly, is that you get a headphone jack, which is very good. It is a feature that is not available on many flagship phones these days, so that's a good addition. And the fact that this speaker grill looks kind of odd. It's a single speaker setup, so yes, that's one thing that you need to take note of as well. One thing that is conspicuously absent is, of course, the alert slider, which is obviously an iconic OnePlus feature that doesn't exist in the Nord CE series. But there's one very interesting addition that Sajid just told me, and it's the fact that you do get a micro SD card, slot as well. That's something that is not available in many OnePlus phones these days. So now we'll quickly set up the phone. The first thing that everybody does is check the fingerprint scanner. I have not set up the fingerprint scanner, optical fingerprint scanner that's on this yet. There's an unlock code already. It's Sajid's very secret unlock code. Pretty easy to unlock, I must say. So what I do with the fingerprint setup is this, where I actually set up two fingers on the same fingerprint. As usual, OnePlus has pretty fast optical fingerprint scanners, so it also registers it pretty fast. What I'm particularly not a fan of with this fingerprint setup is that it is placed too low. It should have been definitely higher, but yeah, I mean, it unlocks pretty fast, so that's not really a problem. So now let's quickly move to the outdoor area to take a look at how visible the display is under harsh sunlight. All right. So now we'll quickly take a look at the brightness outdoors and the visibility outdoors of this display. So you can see that obviously I've switched off adaptive brightness right now, and adaptive brightness also works pretty well, but it wasn't going as bright as I wanted to, so I pushed the brightness slider to maximum, and this is the max brightness. It's pretty damn visible outdoors, not really much of a problem, but it is not as bright as many other AMOLED displays that we've seen in this price range in the past. For example, it was just last year that we had the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max, which was a phone under rupees 20,000, which came with 1000 nits plus brightness on its display. Now let's quickly take a look at whether this phone can do wideband L1, primarily because you've got a full HD display, you've got AMOLED, you want to watch videos in full HD resolution as well. So quickly checking the DRM settings, ads everywhere. Alright, so it does support L1, so that's pretty good. Now what we'll see is whether YouTube supports HDR playback, which is something that I really like on the YouTube app. So quickly taking a look at a good HDR video, provided the internet gods are kind to us. Looks like that's not the case because it's connected to the studio one. Alright, quickly showing you guys. This can actually play back HDR videos on YouTube, so that's great. Now jumping to Netflix, I'm pretty certain, I'm wagering a guess out here that it doesn't do HDR. Don't worry, I haven't seen it yet. Playback specification, and no, it doesn't do HDR videos on Netflix. So now that we've talked about the display and we've talked about the in-display fingerprint scanner, which is also an optical in-display fingerprint scanner within the display, one of the things that I really like testing on phones is the haptic feedback, and unfortunately, it's not pretty good on the OnePlus Nord CE 2. So if you are typing something, it is very soft and mushy. doesn't, have a good tight feedback. The Realme 9 Pro Plus is way better in comparison, like I mentioned in my full review. Also, what will make me soft and mushy is you guys can hit that red subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever we put out an awesome new tech video. So, what we're going to be doing right now is actually checking if Sajid has done the, Antutu and Geekbench runs. They generally do that for the unboxing. And we can see what the scores are like. We all know that the OnePlus Nord CE2 comes with the Dimensity 900 system on chip. So I'm just quickly checking the Antutu score. Yep, Sajid has run it and it's about 48,000, which is on par for, most Dimensity chips. So that's good. Let's check Geekbench as well. I like the fact that Sajid actually sets it up nicely for us reviewers to check it out. I'll go check the history, and yes, of course. This is the single core and the multi-core score for Geekbench. Now after this, what I'm going to be doing is actually running the CPU throttling test, and I'll show you guys how we run it. We do it slightly differently. So what we'll do is we will hit the options, and you see that the automatic end test will be generally defaulted to 15 minutes, but we're going to be running it for 30 minutes. And I'll save that, and let's start the test. Alright, so our 30-minute CPU throttling test has completed, and we ran it in, the high performance mode, which is actually added on OnePlus phones now after their OPPO merger. And you can see that you get 82% stability, which basically CPU just throttled to 82% of its max performance, which is very, very good. So yeah, good numbers out here. So now that we're done with checking the benchmarks, let's take a look at how the games perform on the OnePlus Nord CE2. I'm going to be checking what's the graphics performance and the max frame rates that you can get on BGMI and Call of Duty. Go to a more comfortable position for actually sitting and playing games. Nice yellow sofa, pretty bright, right? All right, so let's quickly open up BGMI first, because so running in the background, it's pretty good. No time to waste for us. So let's quickly take a look at what is the max graphics that you can get with BGMI. So that's good. So you can get HDR and Ultra on this, which is great. I'm pretty certain that you can get Smooth and Extreme as well. Yep. Now the thing is that I don't play BGMI much, so I'll just switch to COD, which is my favorite game. So let's check what is the max graphics settings that you can get on COD as well. Don't you hate it when you have to wait for loading screens to pop up? All right. So as you can see, if you want max frame rates, you have to switch the graphics to low, and you can only do maximum high graphics and the frame rate will drop to very high. So if you want to do max again, you'll see that it switches to low. Yeah, so that's the issue. Now there's also a gaming mode, as is the case with most UIs on top of Android operating system. Now to invoke the gaming mode, what you need to do is actually swipe down from the right corner, and it's kind of irritating because you end up hitting the elements within the game itself. I do prefer the way you can invoke the gaming mode with Realme UI. It's actually much more convenient. Now once you've actually started the gaming mode, what I like about the OnePlus gaming mode is that you can actually monitor data, which means that you can see the FPS data, and more importantly, you can also see how much GPU and CPU is being used. Now apart from that, you also have a special pro gaming mode, and you also have the option to change the touch sensitivity levels as well. Alright, so now that we're done with the benchmarks and gaming, let's move on to testing the cameras on this phone. Well, obviously we're not going to be doing a full-fledged camera comparison, but let's take the phone outside and test it against the Realme 9 Pro Plus, which is my new favorite camera phone. Alright, let's go. Alright, so now what we're going to be doing is a camera test with the OnePlus Nord CE2 and of course the Realme 9 Pro Plus. Very similarly priced phones, but the 9 Pro Plus is a camera beast, so I want to see how the OnePlus Nord CE2 performs. This is not a full-fledged camera comparison, but I want to quickly check out how the OnePlus Nord CE2's camera performs, and we'll take the pictures and check them on the iMac in our studio. Sujay, please come be my subject. So what I'll do now, and this is how I test my human subject shots, as you've generally seen in our camera comparisons, you'll see that there is harsh lighting on the rear. So this is actually shooting Sujay with HDR. So we'll create a frame for this and take a picture with the Nord CE2. We'll quickly replicate that same frame. See, you can see that the Realme 9 Pro Plus offers a grid line, so I can maintain that, and the There's leveling as well. Alright, so the pictures do look good, but what we'll do is definitely check it in our system itself. Now that we're done with that high dynamic range shot, let's take a picture of Sujay with even lighting. So Sujay, ek cheez karna, just sit here for me, please. That is absolutely correct. Thank you so much. So now I'm going to be taking a picture of Sujay, the OnePlus Nord CE2, and switching to the Realme 9 Pro Plus. So this is what it looks like. Now that we have some even lighting, I thought I'd take a couple of portrait shots as well of Sujay. Let's check that out. Smile, bhai. What we'll do right now is actually jump and take some selfies as well. This is with the Nord CE2. By default, all these phones end up doing the they do a lot of these beauty filters. I switched that to natural. Let's check if the filters are original. Great, awesome. Let's quickly take a selfie portrait. Now let's do that with the Realme 9 Pro Plus again. Very similar camera app if you can see. Let's also take a regular selfie. Now that we're done with the selfies, I feel like having a cup of coffee. Let's head to Starbucks. I'll take a few more camera samples with these phones out there. Alright, let's go. Alright, so we are here at Starbucks and I have my cup of Java chip frappuccino that I absolutely love. What I'm going to be doing is taking photos of the coffee that we've ordered using both these phones and take a look at what that looks like before I head out and take more pictures. You just have to record me. So now I'm going to be shooting a 4K video using both the phones, which is basically the Nord CE2 and of course the Realme 9 Pro Plus. Quickly take a look at the frame rates that are maximum available on these phones. So both these phones can shoot at 4K 30 FPS. Let's start recording and take a look at the stabilization on offer as well. So now I'm going to be shooting a video using the front camera. Quickly take a look at the resolution. You can only switch between the resolutions. You can't switch between the frame rate, so it's presumably at 1080p 30 FPS. Looks like the crop factor is pretty similar. I'm going to be walking with it. The good thing is that the Realme 9 Pro Plus actually offers electronic image stabilization while the OnePlus does not. The good thing is that the Realme 9 Pro Plus actually offers electronic image stabilization while the OnePlus does not. So we've had our coffee, we've taken some pictures using both the Realme 9 Pro Plus and the OnePlus Nord CE2. Let's quickly take a look at what these pictures look like. Alright, so we are at the favorite part of any reviewing process for me. While this is not a full review, I do love checking out camera pictures. I'll show you my process and we'll take a look at what the pictures look like captured from the OnePlus Nord CE2 and of course the Realme 9 Pro Plus. Alright, so the very first picture that we're checking is of this landscape. The one on the right is the Nord CE2 and this one's the Realme 9 Pro Plus. What you can see immediately is the fact that the Nord CE2 sort of has better performance around the darker portions of the image. So this is the high dynamic range performance. And of course, the Realme 9 Pro Plus also boosts the colors a lot. The sky definitely wasn't this blue. It's more natural. This is a color calibrated monitor, guys. This is the kind of monitor that we use for checking our images. Now in the second picture, you can see that, the Realme 9 Pro Plus sort of offers more details when you zoom into the face. Let me just quickly do that. And it's a nice and sharp picture as opposed to the OnePlus Nord CE2, which couldn't actually capture focus properly either. So definitely the Realme 9 Pro Plus looks better out here. Now in the second shot, you can see out here that the facial tones are more accurate on the OnePlus Nord CE2. This was a problem with the Realme 9 Pro Plus that I mentioned in the review as well. Having said that, again, the details and the texture sharpness and of course, the details on the eyes are much better on the Realme 9 Pro Plus. Really good job out here. Now as for the selfies, remember when I told you guys the Realme 9 Pro Plus actually takes good selfies? I think that the Nord CE2 does even better. Look at the facial tones and everything, looks damn good and it is also very crisp. Now coming to this picture of the Starbucks coffee that we had, and what I evidently see is that the Realme 9 Pro Plus is far more detailed as opposed to the OnePlus Nord CE2, but the Nord CE2 definitely offers far better color accuracy. Now this is a fantastic picture that I feel of the cups as well, and again you can see that the details and textures are better on the Realme 9 Pro Plus. That's where Realme has worked a lot in the sharpness of images. Whereas I feel that the dynamic range performance is slightly better on, the Nord CE2. Now coming to the ultrawide, I can't really tell much of a difference between the two. They look very similar, but the Nord CE2 has definitely oversaturated out here. And what happens is that the color sense consistency between the primary camera and the ultrawide is also not visible. Now one of the things I must mention is that if you guys want a full camera comparison, do let me know in the comment section below. So now that we're done with the camera comparison as well, it's been a long day. I've been shooting a lot. But these were my first impressions, sort of, day in the life with the OnePlus Nord CE2. I hope you had some takeaway from this. I think that these kind of videos are more fun and more organic to make. Let me know what you think about it. And if you do like these kind of videos, don't forget to hit that red subscribe button. But before I leave with, you guys, I wanted to also say that I think that, both these phones are fairly evenly matched. If you guys want a full comparison between these two, let me know in the comment section below. Yes, of course, I'm talking about the Realme 9 Pro Plus, which is a pretty good phone. One of the things that I must mention about the Realme 9 Pro Plus is the fact that it comes with Android 12, which the OnePlus Nord CE2 does not, and Realme is actually doing a good job with that. What do you guys think of that and the phone itself? Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, keep tracking and stay safe.